I'm Louise Stoll. I'm the author of The Dragon in the Library and the sequel to that, The Monster in the Lake. So today I want to show you some of my collection of unusual objects. I find that looking at things around my house or out in the street can really help me come up with ideas. So, physical things can be full of stories. There might be the real story of the person who gave it to you. For instance, this dragon was given to me by my friend Stuart, so maybe I could write a story about Stuart. Or you could obviously make up stories about the objects around you. Objects can help your mind go to new places, especially if you look at them for long enough and kind of try to look at them as though you've never seen them before. And just ask yourself questions around them. So what objects do you have in your house? What strange things can you spot in the street? You might see a road sign that you can't kind of recognise, or you've never seen it before, and maybe it's pointing you down a magical road that will carry you to another realm. Or you might see a torn poster that has a skull on it, and maybe that was left behind by evil wizards to communicate with each other. Sometimes when I get stuck writing, I just stare around the room. So here are some of the things I stare at. There's this polystyrene head. It's been on my shelf for years. I don't really know where it came from. But I really like how realistic the face is. It makes me think of a statue of a Roman emperor. I wonder what sort of emperor it would be. Quite a strict one. And then, what else have I got? I've got this skull made of chocolate, which I really dare not eat. And it's, I don't know, maybe delicious, but I think that would make a really good story. Then we have David Bowie, who is one of my favourite musicians, sadly dead. This is him in a film called Labyrinth, where he plays the Goblin King. So I think he makes me think of a lot of stories, not necessarily about goblins, but just about mysterious people who arrive in your life and change everything. Then I made this sculpture a while ago. Pretty easy, I just glued some bits together. I took an old phone. If anyone still has a landline, this was a landline. Then I took the remote control from, you know what? I don't know what it's from, but an old remote control. And then these wings that actually belong on shoes. You can see there's room for the laces. So I put it together because I was thinking about it like there's a lot of technology that you have, and then 5 years later you don't need it anymore. It doesn't work. And I just like thinking about that from the point of view of the far, far future. So imagine someone coming to your house now, but you've left it, it's 5,000 years in the future and it's just a ruin. And looking at your television, looking at your phone, looking at your computer, what would they think it was for? They may have no idea. It may be kind of, our civilization is so different to theirs, they can't figure it out. So try to imagine that person coming into your life and trying to see what everything does and try to work out who you are. Because that's what people called archaeologists do. They go and look at objects from the past and try and work out who might have used them and what they used them for. So someone might see, an old remote control from now and think maybe it was a god, maybe it was a magical machine of some kind. Or they might have thought it was terribly primitive, because we would seem primitive to them. Then, what else do I have? Yes, I have this spaceship. This is actually a real spaceship that they're building, or they were building it, called Skylon. You can see it's very kind of zoomy. And I like to think about where we might go in space next. Will we go to Mars? Will we go beyond there? And who might be going in these spaceships? This one is probably only, I don't think this one takes people, but, imagine a vast spaceship that had, 1,000 people on it, and they were traveling for thousands of years because space is so big, and imagine them living there and what it might be like. Then we have my dragon, which was from my friend Stuart as a present, and also my monster. And these two are sort of related to creatures in my book. So in The Dragon in the Library, there is a dragon called Draka, who doesn't look exactly like this, but I think they're cousins. And in The Monster in the Lake, there's a creature who lives in a lake called Lizzie. This is a little bit like her. This is actually a plesiosaur type of dinosaur, but Lizzie is a magical creature that looks a bit like that. So I think the real prize of my collection, though, is my creepy puppet. So he has an axe. He has a hooked nose. He has this sort of brown robe. I don't know if you can see this, but he has one hoof and one foot, and a very hairy foot. And his face is super creepy too. I think he has, no, it's not necessarily whiskers, it's just strange lines on his face. I don't write stories about him, and I try not to look directly at him. Sometimes I put him in a cupboard so he's safe, or rather so I'm safe. But if you ever want to write a really, really scary story, think about this puppet, just not too soon before bed. So I will see you all soon, and remember to like and subscribe, or the puppet will be angry.